All right. So I asked you to reduce these if possible, right? So when you're looking at can you reduce fractions, my rule to you, right? I started this first semester is can you factor something? If you can, then yeah, you can cross it out. If you can't, you have to leave it. But factoring is just multiplying, isn't it? So this is already factored. 2 times x, that's multiplication, right? So can you simplify 2 times x divided by 2 times y? Yes. So your final answer should just be x over y. How about this one? Can I cross out the 2's?
No.
No. That is what it is. They're holding hands. Can you factor out a 2? No. The x doesn't have one to give. Neither does the y. So you have to leave it. So do you understand the difference between these two?
Yes.
Yes. Good. How about this one?
You can factor out a 5, but it's n minus 1, which is different.
So factor out a 5 and you're left with n minus 1. What do you notice about the denominator?
Yeah.
Let me write it this way. I can factor out what? Negative. Let's look at that. So if I factor out a negative 1, and then what's left in parentheses? What's left in parentheses?
Negative n.
No, negative 1 times what will give me negative n? N. Negative 1 times what will give me positive 1? Negative 1. Can I simplify?
Exactly.
Yes. And 5 over negative 1 is? Negative 5. How many of you got that? Nice. Yeah, give a big grin and look around like, yes, I did that. Good for you. All righty. How about this one? Have you tried it?
Yes.
Let's discuss something. When you are simplifying, right, what do? You factor, right? So here's how students want to start this problem. And if you did, it's okay. I'm not fussing at you. I'm just trying to help save you some time, right? They want to FOIL out the 4 minus x. Are you laughing because you did it? But you want to, right?
Well, I did it and then I erased it.
Oh. So they want to factor that out. Then the minus quantity, 4 minus x cubed, they want to factor all that, or, distribute rather. I'm saying the wrong word. Distribute all that out, a cube. Then they want to multiply that by 2x. So to take what they got on the first one, multiply all that by 3x squared. Why? When you simplify, you
Make it easier.
factor. It's given to you in factored form, isn't it? My only suggestion is sometimes it's hard when this is at the back. Multiplication, you can totally rewrite it, right? So that's the only thing I might suggest is to rewrite it as 3x squared times quantity, 4 minus x squared, minus 2x times quantity, 4 minus x cubed, all over x to the 4th. Do you see it a little easier, what you can factor out? What would you do? Do the exponent first. The exponent? Okay. Here's the deal. If you see that, that's beautiful. Everybody see the quantity 4 minus x squared, 4 minus x cubed, so I can take 2 of them. Now I'm going to leave a little space because I'm going to factor something else out. So I'm going to take that quantity out. Right? I'm going to factor that out. Both of these have that to give, don't they? What else, though? You have a 3x squared and a 2x. We're not super concerned that it's a minus. Factor-wise, we'll leave that negative on the inside, right? What can you factor out? An x. So I put x here times quantity, 4 minus x squared. And now we have to put everything that's left. I put it in brackets so it doesn't confuse me with the parentheses. You can put parentheses. I don't care. I just happen to put square brackets. Now, here's what you have to ask yourself. This times what will give me this? 3x, yep. And 3x times x gives me 3x squared. Quantity 4 minus x squared is right there. 4 minus x quantity squared, right? So you got it. There it is, 3x. Then now you need to do the same thing. You need to say, okay, what times this will give me this?
-2
Okay,
times the quantity of 4 minus x.
there we go. Do you see why I put the square bracket now? You don't have to, as long as you can keep up with all those parentheses, right? Okay. All right, and then that's all being divided by x to the fourth. Now, we're not done, are we? No, look at it. You have an x times that quantity, times, right, x to the fourth. So we can get rid of that x, and we're going to get rid of one of these, so what's left? 3 of them, right? So I have quantity 4 minus x squared. Now, in parentheses, can you simplify? Yes. I'm going to distribute. And now here's where it is a good idea to keep simplifying further on that, okay? Because you have x's in there and number, you know, so you want to get whatever you can together. So it's going to be times quantity, 3x, minus -2 times 4 is -8, -2 times -x, plus 2x, and all that's being divided by x to the third. Can I simplify anything else, or am I finished?
You can simplify.
Yep. You have this 3x and you have this 2x. You can put them together. And then you're finished, right? You have quantity 4 minus x squared times quantity 3x plus 2x is 5x minus 8 all over x cubed. So you have a quantity times a quantity. They are factored. This is factored, isn't it? Look. Aren't I multiplying them? Yep. So don't start boiling it all out, distributing it all out, making it this big, long, huge, nasty thing. Just have to turn around and factor it right back out, right? Questions on that? Okay. Good. So some more complex fractions for you. Go ahead and try these, writing them as a simplified fraction in reduced form. My suggestion is get that numerator or denominator, whichever one, right, as a simplified fraction being divided by a simplified fraction. So you see what I'm saying? What are you going to work with first on this one? The top. Yep, I'm going to try to simplify that as far as I can. Can you just add an h to this and call it done?
No.
No. How do we get common denominators? We multiply. Good. So go ahead and try it, and then we'll go over it together, okay? You want to simplify as far as you can. That's a little bit different. And just do the first problem. We'll go over it, and then we'll do the next one together, okay? Ready to discuss? You're born ready. Ooh, I like it. Bring it on. All right. Like I said, I suggest deal with the numerator first, okay? So what's the common denominator going to be? Okay. You're going to have to factor at the end if you distribute that. So I suggest just leave it x times quantity x plus h, like that. And the reason for that is when you're trying to simplify, you just have to turn around and factor, right? So I suggest actually just leave it in the denominator, okay? You're not wrong, but it'll save you time and trouble. Okay, so what do we have to multiply this by? Yes, we multiply this by x, and we multiply that by x. 1 times x is just x, all right? And this we had to multiply by x plus h, the whole quantity. So that's going to be quantity x plus h. 1 times that quantity is just x plus h. But look what it's following. A minus. Be careful, right? And your h in the denominator, don't drop it just because you're not working with it yet. You still got to bring it with you, okay? So if it's following a minus, I said look to see. Is that thing holding hands? Is it? Yes, it's a plus. So you need to do what when you put them together? Put that whole thing in parentheses. And it's all over x times quantity, x plus h. And now what do we do now? I'm going to simplify, right? I'm going to distribute. So I get the new numerator is x minus h all over x times quantity x plus h all over h. And what happens? The x's cancel, and we're left with negative h over x times x plus h. Now, I right there went ahead and put a 1 under this and went ahead and changed it from division to multiplication. And then what do you think I did? I flipped, right? Because I changed that from division to multiplication, I also have to flip it. So that becomes 1 over h. That way you can deal with that complex fraction, right? Now we go straight across the top, straight across the bottom. Negative h times 1 is negative h over x times h is just xh times quantity x plus h. I just like to write the variables in the front. You're not wrong if you put x times quantity x plus h times h. We just normally write it in the front, right? Can we go any further, or are we done? We can go further. Yes, x times h. They're not holding hands. So multiplication is factored. So those are gone, and I'm left with negative 1 over quantity x times quantity x plus h. How many of you see it here? Anybody? Okay, if you do, you're allowed to do that, right? But, you know, just be careful. I show you stuff the long way. If you take it upon yourself to try to do the shortcut, it's on you though if you make a mistake, okay? All right. This one is beautiful because we just finished the exponential unit. So let's see if you can apply all that stuff you learned. Those are -2s. That's quantity A plus B divided by quantity A to the -2 minus B to the -2. So what are you going to do with it? Start with the bottom? Okay, what would we do? I'm sorry?
Put 1 over A squared.
Ah, put 1 over A squared. Minus 1 over B squared. So on this one, what do you think I'm going to suggest you simplify first and clean up? Yes. So now that Miss Jasmine's helped us figure out how do we write that, I want you to finish it, okay? All right. What are you going to do with the denominator to simplify it?
Times by the two fancy ones.
Times five. Okay, so this numerator is going to stay the same. It's going to be divided by, and what's the fancy one you want me to multiply by? B squared, yeah. Just checking. So then B squared times 1 is just B squared over, I put A squared, B squared because alphabetical order, that's just how I work. You don't have to, but a lot of times you'll see variables, we put them in alphabetical order, don't we? All right, and then this one's going to be times A squared times A squared. So this is minus A squared over A squared B squared. Do not simplify the A squareds. That would be going in circles. It's like, oh, I can cancel. No, the whole purpose is so we can get that as a simplified fraction, right? All right, just checking. I speak from experience. I had classes and I would start going in circles. It's not fun, okay? It's not a race car and a track. It's not fun to go in circles in math problems, okay? You almost did that on the test. Well, I'm glad you stopped yourself. Okay, so the denominator now is going to become B squared minus A squared, right? All divided by A squared, B squared. And now we can deal with it. So we're going to change the division to multiplication. So it's going to be quantity A plus B times, and then what do I have to do to the denominator? Flip it. Oops, a little too far. I don't even know how I did that. Get back over there. What is happening? Aha, okay. Sorry. So I'm going to... What is happening? I don't even understand. Okay. All right. Everybody remain calm. All right. So we're going to flip the denominator. So it's going to be times A squared, B squared, right? All over B squared minus A squared. You may want to put this in parentheses and this in parentheses, right? Okay. Are we finished? No. That's called a difference in squares in the denominator. B squared minus A squared. They're both squares. There's no middle term, which clearly means One's positive, one's negative to get it to cancel, right? So you're going to do what to the denominator? We're going to
Oh, do B minus A.
B minus A times quantity, B plus A. Always look to see if you can factor. Why do we just do that? Let me ask you. See anything?
Yeah.
What do you see? Yeah, A plus B is the same as B plus A. They're both positive. So if you need to, you can rewrite it. I'm not going to, though. I know A plus B is the same as B plus A, so my final answer is A squared, B squared, all divided by B minus A. Now, B minus A is not the same as A minus B, right? Pay attention to the signs. But when they're all positive, B and A are both positive, then yeah, A plus B, B plus A, we don't care. Questions? No? I want to get through splitting fractions, and then I can get y'all to, for the homework, to try these other ones, because they're more problems to simplify and express as a single fraction. We did that. Don't make faces. I love you. You can do it. I said I want you to try it. I didn't say agonize over it, right? Okay. How can we split a fraction into two reduced fractions?
As long as you have a common denominator, you're good.
Okay.
So, because like if you want to combine fractions, you have to have a common denominator. So
Right.
to split them, you would just keep the common denominator.
Right. So if you split them, he's exactly right. You just want that. So how are we going to split this first one? Go for it, Joey. 3x squared over x cubed, okay? Plus 2 over x cubed. Fabulous. See that common denominator? However, I want you to split it into two reduced fractions. I'm leading you up to partial fraction decomposition. These are baby steps, so just simplify. Can you simplify anything? Yeah, look, you have x squared over x cubed. So how many of these in the denominator am I taking? 2 of them, and I'm only left with. So this is actually just 3 over x plus 2 over x cubed. Can you check your answer? Very easy. Start with what I wrote in red. See if when you go back the opposite direction, you get what you started with, right? Okay. So altering the form of a fraction. How could I alter this form? How could I rewrite it? That's flipping it. We're kind of trying to do this. We're just trying to split it. That's all we're doing. We're just splitting it. So what would that look like?
Oh, that's an excellent question. X
X over.
X minus 1.
Yep. Over x minus 1. Okay.
And plus 3.
Plus
X minus 1.
3 over x minus 1. Can you simplify any further? No. Nothing cancels. There's really no reason. So it's just getting you used to splitting them. And why am I teaching you that? Well, when you go to calculus, you have to know partial fraction decomposition. Sometimes it helps you with integration and things like that. Okay.
I'm kind of confused as to for the other one, why is it just 3 plus 2 on the top? How can you just split it like that?
Well, I didn't just split it like that. I split it by putting this over the denominator, right? See how I did that here?
Yeah.
But when I did that, I then saw I had the x squared over x cubed and I could cancel. In this one, x over x minus 1, I can't touch it. 3 over x minus 1, I can't touch it. All right, so let me talk to you for a second. These were just more problems trying to get you to be able to simplify, okay? So this one is very similar to what one?
The one we've done for you.
Uh-huh.
Like that.
It's very similar to
That one.
that one. So is there any sense in boiling it all out and distributing everything all out and getting this huge, crazy, nasty thing. No. Okay? So I want you to refer back to that example. All right, that's my first suggestion. Well, and if you don't listen to my suggestions, then there you go. It is what it is. So that's my suggestion with that one. Use that example as a reference, right? Okay? This one. It's pretty similar, again, to one of the ones we already did, right? And I said to you on that problem, pay attention to, where was it? Aha, this one. Look at this one. I said pay attention to what is being raised to the power, right? So do you see, I showed you with baby steps, and now you get to jog. Remember I said that? You're going to jog today? Okay. So what's being raised to the power? Keep that in mind. Also, pay attention. Are you multiplying? Are you adding? Are you subtracting? Right? Okay? So that's my hint for this one. This one, there's no need to, when you find the common denominator, you can't really see my fraction bars. Hope you're staying with me. You're not finishing these during class. This is what you're going to do for homework, okay? All right? So, what did I say earlier about when you find the common denominator?
Don't like factor it in.
Don't multiply it all out and distribute it. Did I, though, multiply stuff in the numerator so that I could simplify? Yes. Did everyone just hear me? When you find a common denominator and you multiply by, the two things, leave it. But in the numerator, go ahead and simplify as hard as you can, right? Because you have the minus in between, so you got to get them as a simplified fraction, right? So that's my hint on this one. And then over here, that one's probably one of the easiest ones that you're doing for the homework, right? Okay, so that's my hint here. Do not do all that work and boil it all out. Don't do it. Okay, and then there's one more example. All right? You have your mission? How many problems is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 problems. Good, that's perfect. Normally I give you 10, right? 10 to 20. They would take a while, wouldn't they? So 5 is good. All right, that's your mission.